Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in today. I'm really excited to share with you 5 key healing strategies to overcoming your IBS. And these 5 strategies is what I've learned over the past 17 years. And what I wanted to share with you first was my personal story and how I was diagnosed and the triggering event that caused it to happen. So when I was 20 years old, it was my triggering event, and that happened because basically my then boyfriend, cheated on me and gave me chlamydia. So I was then left with 2 rounds of antibiotics, a broken heart, and a fear of infertility. So it was a bit of a perfect storm for someone who, like me, had suffered constipation and bloating all my life prior to that. But it hadn't bothered me because I could just suck in my belly and I was all good to go. But that perfect storm meant after that I was always suffering from abdominal pain. So I'd go to doctors and they ruled out any sinister or any IBD, so chronic bowel disease such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. I didn't have that. And I didn't have pelvic inflammatory disease. I needed a laparoscopy, and they ruled out that, and a colonoscopy. And so they came to the conclusion that I just had IBS and that I had to figure out what else I needed to do on my own, basically. And that's where my first strategies come into play. So I was left with wondering what I needed to do. At the time I was eating a standard Western diet. I didn't have much value in my health so much. I would eat whatever was offered to me, whatever was most easily available, and whatever was yummy. So fried foods, high sugar foods, processed foods, that was all part of my normal diet then. If you'd asked me, I thought I was eating fairly healthy too, because I'd eat vegetables and my fruits and stuff too, but I just was choosing the wrong foods too often as well. But anyway, so that's how I got diagnosed, and that was 17 years ago. And so the 5 strategies, first off, I want to start with is seeing a naturopath. So that was the first thing that I did and was a game changer for me. So as helpful, 17 years ago, there wasn't as much free content and information available. And I highly, am all for absorbing free content and free information, surfing the net, because that is valuable stuff a lot of the time. And it gives us leads on what we need to discover more of. And so I'm all for that. But I think the power in seeing a naturopath is in the mindset that you're willing to invest in your health, and realizing that for yourself, that if you're willing to invest and put that money in, that you're more likely to follow through with the advice and the changes that you need to make. So for me, seeing a naturopath was a game changer, and now that I am a naturopath, I highly recommend it even more so now. Second strategy would be getting out of your comfort zone with what you're eating. So I grew up with a family who, we ate a standard Western diet as well. My father in particular did not like vegetables. Potato was the only vegetable he would eat. And so I thought that was normal, and I even still to this day don't, get excited to eat a broccoli all on its own. I could never become a vegetarian, and that's okay. I eat mostly a paleo diet, and but I learnt that it's okay to get out of your comfort zone. I remember one of the first things I did in my healing journey was eating a vegetable sandwich for the first time, part of a detox cleanse that I was doing. And I didn't think that I would be able to do that. And I was dreading it, and I didn't know if I could do it every day, but I made my sandwich and I took it to work and I ate it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. So I want to stress to you that I understand that feeling when you don't want to eat healthy foods. It's hard to explain why you don't want to. and you try and put it off as a, it's okay because I just don't want to. But really, guys, that's not a good enough reason just because you don't want to, just because you don't like it. You might actually be surprised at how much you would enjoy it. And I want to stress that for you because it's a game changer as well. When you learn that eating vegetables isn't going to kill you, it's actually going to make you better. So that's number 2. Number 3, just I'm checking out my notes here as well. I've got all these notes, all the stuff I want to talk to you about. Okay, so bear with me as I make sure I'm covering all of what I want to say. So number 3 is another really important one in learning the process of your digestion. So learn how it works and how it goes wrong as well. It's a process of empowerment for you when we're dealing with IBS. When we know what's going wrong and how it works, we can so much more quickly assess what's going on. And this is where, you don't have to go 8 years studying to be a naturopath to figure out how your digestion works. I'm actually in the process of creating content at the moment where I delve a bit more into the processes of your digestion. So stay tuned for that because it's on its way. Learning the process of your digestion is very valuable. Next strategy is understanding that healing is not a straight line or a straight hill going up and up and up and getting better and better and better all the time. It's a bit more like a roller coaster ride where you go ups and downs and loop-de-loops, moments where you feel like you're going backwards, and they're some of the scariest moments. But what I'm here to say with this strategy is don't try and jump off the roller coaster after a scary bit, after a loop-de-loop, when you feel like you're going backwards. Hang in there, keep doing what you're doing with your positive changes because, there's a good chance that when you get to the end of the roller coaster, you'll be smiling. But I think that would be a different case if you suddenly jumped out of the roller coaster while it was moving. You'd be left splat on the ground and not as happy. So even though you get so uncomfortable when we're on the healing journey and sometimes very disheartened when we are going backwards and we're wondering, we're doing all these things that should be making us feeling better. What's going on and what's happening to stop that healing? And that's where I come back to again with the 3rd strategy with learning how your digestion works, because this is where we can kind of come in with that knowledge and go, all right, well, we're supporting, these 3 key areas, your stomach acid, your digestive enzymes, and your gut microbiome. Maybe it's your peristalsis. Maybe we need to get that working. Maybe you need to exercise more. But that comes in time and practice and working with someone like myself who can help you to ascertain what it is, because sometimes it's not telling us when we're having those steps backward that we're doing anything wrong, but maybe we need to do something slightly different. It's a bit like parenting, actually, where when you've got a baby and you don't know what's wrong and why they're crying, you just got to try some different things, and it's a little bit the same. Don't be disheartened. Don't just drop the ball completely. Keep doing what you're doing, but start thinking about what you might need to do differently. What little thing can you change? So powerful for going on your upwards journey to healing. So that brings me to the number 5, the 5th strategy, which is functional testing. So it took me about 11, 12 years before I did my first functional test. And it was another game changer for me. So I would probably recommend, and I don't recommend it for everybody actually, but for some cases, and especially more of the complex cases when there's more complex illness, maybe like fibromyalgia or neurological processes going on that need also to be kind of addressed in a treatment plan, then I can see how functional testing is even more important then. But For others, it may not be. But for me, what a really big game changer was the food allergy testing. So you can test 40 foods with your IgG and learn, because it can be so hard to do an elimination diet. You know, you're told that you can't eat dairy, you can't eat nightshades, you can't eat gluten, you can't eat meat. It's like so many things you can't eat. And it's like, what can you eat? And it can be a real game changer when we decide what it is that your body is, not decide, but understand on a biochemical level what it is your body is reacting to. And it really speeds up the healing process. So to run over those 5 strategies again, number 1 is see a naturopath, invest in your health, put some money into it, give yourself the mindset that yes, you're going to make some changes. Number 2 is be prepared to eat foods that you haven't eaten before. Try new things. Just because you know that you're someone who likes sugary fried food doesn't mean that you have to be that person for the rest of your life either. So number 3 is learning the process of your digestion, how it works and where it can go wrong, so you can more quickly figure out what you can do differently when things are going a little bit backwards or may seem like they're going a little bit backwards. And number 4 is the roller coaster ride. Trust in the healing process. Just keep making healthier changes. It doesn't have to be all at once, just one step at a time. And number 5 is be prepared, again, with some investment to do some functional testing to really speed up that process and gain insight into your biochemical individuality. And that's it for today. So I thank you for tuning in again, and I look forward to chatting more with you in the future. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.